On tonight's Tales from the Porch Swing, I'm going to tell you about how the meth heads have been working overtime around here in Methodale County. Then I'll tell you, we're going to talk a little about the keyboard warriors we got here on the internet. And then I'll tell you another story about the Mamaw and Papaw. So, I went down, there's a store below the shop, and I go down there every morning and get me a cup of coffee, and I went down there today, and I got me a cup of coffee, and I was going up there to pay for it, and old girl that works in there, she said, "You see that mess sitting over there on the floor?" And I said, "Yeah, what's that?" And she said, "Well, we bought us a new walk-in cooler we was going to put in, try to make this place a little bit nicer." And so we had it stacked up out here beside the building, and said in less than 24 hours, somebody stole all the copper out of it. She said, "You can't have nothing around here." So, I went to work. We was pretty busy today, and I'd called my buddy Steve-O. I'd called him and texted him because I was needing old boy's phone number, and he never called me or texted me back, so I didn't think much of it. I was coming through town today after work. I seen him at the gas station. I whipped her in there, and I was driving the car I'd been working on, so he didn't know it was me, and I pulled up there, and I shot him a bird, and he looked. Son, I could tell by the look on his face, he was not happy. So, I rolled down the window, and he seen it was me. And they're building, he's a fire chief here, out here at Crooked Creek, and they're building a new fire department over here. And I said, "What's wrong with you?" And he said, "Somebody come in last night and stole every bit of the water out of the fire department and stripped it." Said, "I found a bunch of sheathing where they had stripped it." Said, "I tracked it a little ways," and he said, I said, "You called the law?" He said, "Yeah, we've called the law." And I said, "You know who it is?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I got a good idea." He said, he said, "There's some out here on this other road, and see that bunch lives down below you up there on the hill." Well, if it's that bunch up here on the hill, which it probably is, the bad thing about that is these fools, I reckon their meth lab blowed up about 3 months ago and their house burnt down. Well, they had a bunch of cars up there, and instead of trying to save a house, them fools goes to pushing the cars away from the house and blocks the driveway, and they can't get the fire trucks up to the house to put the fire out, so they just have to let her burn down. So now they've got them a bunch of campers pulled in up there. Now, you talk about a bunch of worthless, low-down, good-for-nothings. That's it. And I would say that's them because last night the law was rolling out through here, and they see 3 old boys on bicycles with backpacks. Well, they didn't stop and ask them no questions. I mean, they could have said, "Hey, man, what's up?" Well, it ain't like they're going to admit to nothing, but still. And I'm going to tell you something. We live out here in the country, and they ain't nobody up to anything productive riding a bicycle through Crooked Creek at 2:30 in the morning. If you see a fella riding a bicycle through Crooked Creek at 2:30 in the morning, he's getting ready to strip your house of copper or anything else that ain't nailed down. So, old Steve-O, man, he was hot about that today. He was super hot, man. He's pretty hot-tempered anyway. So, I mean, if them fools want to burn their house down, that's fine, but it'd be nice to have a new fire department out here and have, I mean, I don't want my house to burn down, but if they want to burn theirs down, that's fine. So, I would say that's them because they ride bicycles and walk up and down the road all hours of the night to this other bunch of crackheads over here. And then, I get on here and I read a bunch of the comments. I read really about all of them. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. And man, there's some keyboard warriors on here. Everybody's got to put their opinion on there. And there's some bad mofos on the internet, let me tell you. So the other day, I get messages, and I always try to respond to messages because I'm just a normal dude, man. And I got this message from this dude, man. And he was talking about how I wasn't funny, and I was fat and lazy. And he cussed me pretty good. And I took it, and I didn't respond. I mean, I'm good about I can lay a cussing on with the best of them. I have administered some good cussings in my life. But, I mean, you're on the internet. What good's it going to do? Everybody's got an opinion. I mean, some people's opinions are stupid that don't agree with me, but, but that's just how it is. So, he texted me that a couple of times, and I just said, like, I hear you, or something like that. And, you know, everybody's a bad mofo on the internet. So then I guess the Lord started convicting him because he sent me another one that said I shouldn't make fun of him, I ought to pray for him. And I mean, yeah, he's right, you probably ought to pray for him, but it is pretty fun making fun of him. I mean, it's funny. So I just kind of let that one slide. I figure he knows some people I know. He don't know who I am, I don't think. He might, I don't care. I mean, he ain't gonna show up around here. But so then I was gonna tell you about my Mamaw and Papaw. I lived with Mamaw and Papaw for quite a while. About 5 years, right up almost until the time I got married the first time, and I was real close to my Mamaw and Papaw, and they'd sit in my house and watch TV. And at that time, there was a channel on TV that it played all the talk shows that come on during the day. It played them in prime time, like Jerry Jones and Maury Povich, and I think, what was that, Jenny Jones, and probably Ricky Lake. It played, probably Sally Jesse Raphael at that time, too. It played all them talk shows that you'd see. So, man, Mamaw and Papaw, I'd watch them talk shows every night, and I'd be out courting or out doing something. I'd come home, and I'd come in, and they'd have to tell me all about them talk shows and everything that happened on them talk shows, and they'd sit there and they'd say, I can't believe they show that mess on TV like that. What's this world coming to when they talk like that on TV and show it on mess like that on TV? But they would watch it every night. It never failed. So, Papa, one night I come in, and he's kicked back in his recliner, and I'd been out doing something, and he said, well, I see where your cousin got caught over in Asheville in a prostitution sting. I said, you did? He said, yeah, they had it on the news. He said, you know, I always thought that boy was a homo. If I'd have known that, I'd have went over and got his bail. So my Papa was old school. If by the time you was about 10 years old, you was chewing backer regular. And by the time you was 13, you better be chasing women regular, because if you wasn't, you was going to grow up to be gay more than likely. That's just how Papa was. he was old school, boy. He was full of wit and wisdom. But, well, that's about it. The goings on and the happenings here around Methdale County. I reckon it's time to piss on the fire and call the dogs and shut her down. I'll see you on the flip.